All right, Hare Krishna. Welcome back, all of you, for the Bhagavad Gita study circle. We are now in the 61st session of the Bhagavad Gita study circle. We have been discussing Bhagavad Gita continuously, and there are so many beautiful topics that we have discussed all the way along till sixth chapter, and many more wonderful things Krishna is going to reveal. And today also there are some very interesting things that Krishna is going to share. We are discussing about the sixth chapter, the Dhyana Yoga, and Krishna is going to explain some very, very important aspects of the Dhyana Yoga today. So, as usual, let's begin our session with the pranam mantras. You can all chant the prayers. You can kindly join your palms and try to repeat after me. So let me quickly share the screen, and all of you can nicely sing and chant the pranam mantras. So this is the 61st verse, 61st session, and we dedicate this session to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of ISKCON, and also the beloved spiritual master of all the ISKCON devotees. So let's begin our pranam mantras. All of you kindly try to repeat. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvishe Namaha Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Hare Krishna. Welcome back, all of you, for the Bhagavad Gita study circle. We have Uma Kumar with us. Uma Kumar, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Guruji.
Good, very nice. So, in the previous session, we had discussed some very, very important points. And Krishna had clearly explained that how anyone who is not regulated in his eating and sleeping cannot perform yoga, right? Krishna had mentioned that how anybody who is not very regulated in these basic things cannot perform yoga. Only one who is a yukta karmasu, yukta chestasa, one who is experienced in performing, very expert in performing his eating, sleeping, mating, defending activities properly in a regulated way, only that person can actually become a yogi. Because in this context, we are specifically talking about Ashtanga yogi. So Krishna is referring to Ashtanga yogi. So Ashtanga yogi is has to perform a lot of regulations within his lifestyle. It's very, very important for him. Otherwise, there is no question of him going and performing yoga. It's not possible at all. It's extremely difficult. So that is why Krishna is explaining that how we need to have a balanced life. We also discussed about how we need to regulate our work also. We need to have that work life balance within us. If we don't have this work life balance, then there will be a lot of disturbance. And the main reason, one of the main root cause for having imbalance in our work life is because the internal quality, that is greed. So because there is greed always tries to put us off the balance track that we are going, and we become imbalanced in life. And one more very root cause is the spiritual causes, because we are spiritual beings, but we are here in this material world that itself is a big imbalance. So what Krishna is telling is now you regulate and come to your actual balanced life. That is the spiritual life, isn't it? So that is what is needed. But just like, there are a lot of demands in our life. There are so many demands. Everybody is trying to get our attention. Our body is trying to get us attention. Our mind, our social dealings with people, that also demands a lot of attention. And then there is a spiritual need also. So there are so many needs. Just like a car has four wheels, we need to have these four wheels in our life. What are those? The body, the mind, then the social needs, and at the same time we have the spiritual needs. So only when all these things are properly taken care of, then the vehicle of called life will move very smoothly. And that is how we need to balance. The balance is required. So now Krishna is going to explain something very interesting in the upcoming shloka. So let us try to understand what is that Krishna is going to say. See, many times when we perform anything, we are always looking for the outcomes. What is the outcome of a certain thing, right? So Krishna is also going to explain what is the outcome of this yoga. So let us see what is that shloka. So Uma Kumar, you can unmute yourself and you can
Yes,
chant
Guruji.
this verse. यदा विनियतं चित्तम्
यदा विनीतं चित्तम्
आत्मनि एव तिष्ठते
आत्मनीय एव तिष्ठते
निष्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यो
निःस्पृहः स सर्वकामेभ्यो
युक्तित्वुच्यते तदा.
युक्तित् उच्यते ताडा.
Once again we will do it. यदा
Yes.
विनियतं चित्तम्
यदा विनीतं चित्तम्
आत्मन्येवावतिष्ठते
आत्मन्येव तिष्ठते
निष्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यो
निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यो
युक्तित्वुच्यते तदा.
युक्तिच्युते तदा.
Wonderful. Please read the translation by yourself.
When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to be well established in yoga. Hare Krishna
Wonderful. Very
Guruji.
nice. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, this is a very, very interesting shloka. We should know this verse number 18. Krishna is telling that once you become situated, then in yoga, then there is a lot of wonderful things that will happen. What will be the outcome of it? See, anytime when we go to a gym, these days people, we see that people do a lot of work. They go to gym and they work out, right? Now they have an exclusive time for that. But in the olden days, there was nothing like gym. People has to go to a gym for maintaining their health and fitness, and all those things was not there. Today, it is required because people are not very intelligent. They are not yuktaha. But in the olden times, in the Vedic times, everybody was yuktaha. Yuktaha means they are quite intelligent. And in that intelligent way, they used to have their work also intelligently programmed in such a way that work is also done and they remain fit also. But today, going to the gym itself is a very big business. Fitness is a very big business. People have made a business out of it. Why? Because they are not very yuktaha. Earlier, it was very easy. People used to do a lot of agricultural things. They used to plant the trees at home. And see, the benefit is by doing all these activities on field, they used to remain fit. At the same time, they could enjoy the shade and fruits of the trees. So it's a double benefit. You are working, your energy is not simply running on in front of the mirror, but all that physical activity that you're doing is going to actually produce result, isn't it? So you're becoming fit. At the same time, you're also able to become very productive. Is that not a very good way of engaging ourselves? So this is how we need to become intelligent in our activities. So when you go to the gym, why people go? Because there the instructor will say, he will say that, okay, you need to actually do all these exercises because you can increase your height, you can increase, you can reduce your weight, and also you can have a very beautiful shape. So you will be fit and fine and you will remain in shape. So this is the outcome: the height, reduce in weight, and also having, if you are this much, you will become this much. The shape maintenance will happen. So this is the outcome of going to the gym. Now Krishna is telling, if you perform yoga, then there is an outcome. What is that outcome? Krishna is saying here, the outcome of yoga is not that you will become perfect in shape and body and all those things. The outcome is that you will become distasteful in all the sensual enjoyments. You will not have interest in material sense pleasures. Your response to material sense objects is completely low. You don't want to enjoy. There is no response. You have developed a very distasteful response to all the sensual enjoyment. That is the outcome of it. And this is what we are supposed to reach, the state of distastefulness for sense enjoyment. By the way, what Krishna is saying here, don't enjoy these material senses. You have your spiritual senses. If you want to get the higher pleasure, then give up this lower pleasure. This is what Krishna is saying. And that is why yoga helps us to actually move towards that. So, gradually, what is happening is through the process of yoga, the outcome is you are becoming distasteful in all the sense enjoyment. So, Krishna is telling in this verse that a yogi is not interested in all these things. And this is exactly what we are supposed to come to the point of distastefulness towards sense objects. Now, this is yoga. Now, many people, when they go to yoga, they only think in terms of fitness and this bodily shape and being in shape. No, this is not the ultimate purpose of yoga. The ultimate purpose of yoga is actually we are supposed to somehow or the other come to the state of not getting attached or enjoying this material sense pleasures. Just see, so important it is. But today, people, they do a lot of yoga and this and that exercise, and they are busy in sensual enjoyments. So that is not called yoga. So that is why Krishna is going to further explain very beautifully, and I want all of you to pay attention to this because there is so much, there is really so much that we can understand, and you can implement this in your life also. So let's see if Hina Mataji can join, although there is some network issue that she's facing, but let's see. So, Mataji, can you speak just in case? Let's try. Okay, no problem. We have some visitors here on YouTube also. Thank you so much, Dave, that you have joined there. All right. So let's do one thing. Uma Kumar, you have a nice, wonderful time today to chant all the shlokas, I guess. So you can unmute yourself again.
Yes, Guru.
And
It's
let's
my pleasure,
do this
Guru.
once again. The verse number 19, it's a very beautiful verse. Please chant and repeat after me.
Yes,
Yata
Guruji.
dipo nivatasto
यथा दीपो निवातस्थो
nengate sopama smrita
नेङ्गते सोपमस्त्रिता
yogino yata chittasya
योगिनो यतचित्तस्य
yunjato yogamatmanaha.
युञ्जतो योग आत्मनः
Once again. Yata dipo nivatasto
यथा दीपो निवास्ततो
nengate sopama smritaha
नेङ्गते स्तोपमस्त्रुतः
yogino yata chittasya
योगिनो यतचित्तस्य
yogino yata yunjato yogamatmanaha.
युञ्जतो योग आत्मनः.
Wonderful. Please repeat the translation.
As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self.
Okay, thank you so much. You can mute yourself.
Yes.
So, this is a very, very interesting shloka. There is so much to understand here. Krishna is actually telling us and giving us an example of a lamp, a diya. Yata deepo nivatasto dingate sopamasprita. Let's see, what is this? You see, when there is a lamp, let us see this lamp. You can all see this lamp here. So, the flame is unwavering when there is no wind. If there is wind, then what happens is the flame will get disturbed, isn't it? So, whenever there is a flame, there is a disturbance there that is caused. The flame cannot burn properly, right? So, similarly, when we are performing dhyana, when we are doing meditation, there will be a wind, there will be a breeze. Prabhuji, how is that possible? What kind of a breeze that can affect our consciousness? So Krishna is not talking about the external breeze, but there is an internal breeze. The breeze of temptations, the breeze of desires, that is what actually wavers our meditation, our dhyana, right? So that is why it's important that we have a check and balances towards this internal breeze of desires. Extremely important. So just like there is this lamp now, and in this lamp you see, if you completely take this lamp and if you expose it to the place where there is lot of wind, then there is every possibility that the flame will get extinguished. At the same time, if you take a jar, a glass jar, and you completely cover the flame, you completely cover this diya, and you keep it like that, do you think the flame will burn? No, it will still require some oxygen for it to burn. So neither you can completely cover it, the diya, nor you can completely expose it to the air, because by doing so, it will actually get extinguished. There is no question of the burning flame, right? So similarly, in yoga process also, anybody who is serious in yoga, you need to be yuktaha, which means that it's not that you completely expose yourself to the sense objects and sensual pleasures, by which your spirituality is completely gone and your dhyana is completely off track. At the same time, it's not that you have to completely starve yourself from sense enjoyment. That's why Krishna also said yukta viharasya in the previous verse. Vihara is there, recreation is there, but it is in a proper, appropriate way you need to enjoy. So that is how, just like the diya needs both balanced way, it neither can be completely cut off from the air. At the same time, you cannot expose it to the full wind where it will get extinguished, right? So it needs to be balanced. So similarly, a yogi also needs to be very balanced in his approach while performing yoga. So this is extremely important, right? Now, let us understand. But if you imagine now this lamp is here, just imagine that you have given appropriate environment to it. You have nicely made arrangement within the glass where it is not going to get disturbed by the wind. At the same time, very peacefully, very nicely, brightly, the lamp is burning. But just by keeping the lamp surrounded by the shelter of the glass that you have, is that enough for the lamp to burn? No. If the lamp has to burn, it's not just stopping the wind, but it is also about having the oil and the wick inside. If there is no oil and no wick, how will the diya burn? How will the flame burn? Isn't it? So it's not just the external environment, but you need to have the oil and the wick. So similarly, now just imagine now this lamp that you're seeing, the clay lamp that can be compared to your mind. It's your mind which is holding what? It is holding all the spiritual knowledge, the jnana. And what is the wick? The wick is your bhakti, that shraddha. So when you have the oil, the jnana, and you have the shraddha and bhakti in your mind, then the flame, your dhyana is complete. The flame is the Paramatma. The Paramatma will glow so brightly in you that then you will be able to see him properly. And you already have created a very nice fence through which there is no disturbance of your external desires, your internal desires. It is completely aloof. In such a situation, it is perfect now that the flame will glow nicely, isn't it? So this is how we need to take care of our Krishna consciousness. We need to have the oil, the jnana, and that is what is happening every Sunday when you come and listen to the Bhagavad Gita classes. You are pouring the oil in your mind. So your mind is getting filled with jnana. And that wick that you have, that bhakti that you have for Krishna, that will slowly burn, and then the Krishna will be visible to you. One fine day, Krishna will become visible to you. Right? So now this is how we need to actually take care of our sadhana properly. Now just imagine all the setting is perfectly fine. There is oil, there is wick, and there is no wind. The flame is burning nicely. At the same time, it is very much possible that in the lamp there will be some dust that will get accumulated. I'm sure you must have experienced this. Whenever you keep some diya, some dust or some sticks or something like that will fall into the lamp, isn't it? But just because there is dust, the flame will not stop from burning. The flame will just make use of the oil, and it will leave the dust behind. That is the characteristic of the flame. Just see, it will leave the dust behind, it will just take the oil. So similarly, the Paramatma, who is like the flame, in the process of yoga, while we are executing this yoga process, there is every possibility that there will be some dust that will fall into our consciousness. Some anarthas will come, lust, greed, anger, all these things might come and fall into our mind. But the Lord, Paramatma, is so wonderful, like the flame, He will take only our jnana and bhakti. He will leave aside all the anarthas that we have, that are fallen in our consciousness, that have fallen in our mind, that can be cleared later on. When the lamp gets dirty, it can be cleared later on. So Krishna will say, no problem. Even if there are some anarthas within you, I will just take all the good things, your jnana and bhakti, and I will leave aside all the unwanted things that have fallen into your consciousness. That is the mercy of the Lord, just like the flame. That is how Krishna acts. That is how Krishna is so pure and so wonderful and compassionate that he takes only the good things from us. Isn't it such a wonderful thing? Just see, in this one example of Lamb, Krishna is giving so many wonderful meanings. There are so many deeper meanings. That's why Bhagavad Gita you can relish on and on and on. So much that you can understand through this, right? So Krishna is very, very, you know, compassionate, and he wants us to progress in spiritual life in the process of yoga. So, with this example of the diya, the deepa, he's explaining us, don't worry, you will become unwavered if you have this process followed properly. One thing is, you need to guide yourself, you need to keep yourself protected from all the external wind, at the same time, the internal desires, so much of internal desires, you need to shield your dhyana from all of it. At the same time, you properly engage yourself in acquiring a lot of spiritual knowledge and execute your devotional service. So that way, you will see that the Paramatma will glow in your hearts. So much Krishna is telling us here. So this is very, very beautiful, very, very beautiful. So now, with all of this, Krishna is also going to explain something very important in the next verse. Krishna is going to tell, okay, all right, now when you actually come to the state of not wavering from the actual path and you are now stable in your dhyana, then what happens? Then what happens? So let's see. So Krishna is going to further explain, and let's see if there is anyone else who has joined. So let me check. All right. So this is very interesting now. Please understand. Uma Kumar, you can unmute yourself and
Yes,
let's
Guruji.
chant the very interesting verse, that is 20th verse. Actually, 20, 21, and 22, all three of them are combined. So we will chant them together, okay? All of
Okay,
them.
Guruji.
Yatro paramate chittam
Yatro paramate chittam
niruddham yoga sevaya
niruddham yoga sevaya
yatra chaivatmanatmanam
yatra chaivatma atmana atmanam
पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति.
pashyani atmani tushyati
Next verse. Sukham atyantikam yatta
sukham atyantmikam kamyatam
buddhi grayam matindriyam
buddhi grayam atindriyam
vetti yatra na chaivayam
vitti yatrana chaivayam
sthitaschala sthitaschalati tatvatah.
sthitachalati tatvatah
Verse number 20, 22 actually. Yam labdva chaparam labham
yam labdha vacha param labham
मन्यते नादिकं ततः
मन्यते नादिकं kamtah
यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन
यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन
गुरुणापि विचाल्यते
गुरुणापि विचाल्यते
तं विद्या दुःख संयोग
तं तं विद्या दुःखसंयोग
वियोगं योग संवितम्.
वियोगं योगसंहितं.
Wonderful. So please read the translation by yourself.
Yes. In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to release and rejoice in the self. In the joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken. Guruji, bottom one is
All,
not visible. Guruji,
all right,
shaken
no problem.
even in the
Okay.
even in the
Midst of the greatest difficulty.
yeah, even in the midst of greatest difficulty, this indeed is.
Yeah, so let me check that. So here Krishna is saying that how,
Yes, Guruji. Yeah, this
yeah,
indeed is
the,
actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact.
wonderful. All right, good, good, good. ठीक है. Let us understand one by one now these few important shlokas. So Krishna is saying here in the 20th verse, Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. So Yatra chaivatmanatmanam. Atma, like I have earlier also mentioned that how this Atma can refer to the body, the mind and the soul. Atma can have multiple meanings. So here the very first Atma, it refers to the mind. Atmanam refers to the Paramatma within. So when your mind is focusing on Atmanam, Pashyan, when the Atma is having darshan of the Atmanam, then Atmanitushyati, you will become very, very happy. So, what is happening is when you have an unwavering mind, you are very stable, then what happens is you will experience in your heart that unlimited joy. There is so much of joy that you experience. So, this is very, very special, extremely important. So Krishna is saying that a yogi, when he is actually enjoying, he is least bothered about all the external things that is going on. That is what Krishna is going to explain in the 21st verse also. He is elaborating that, my dear devotees, when you are engaged in yoga, it's not a one-way process, it's a two-way process. I will also reciprocate. So what is he saying in the 21st verse? Krishna is saying that Sukham Atyantikam Yattad Buddhigrayam Atindriyam. Buddhigrayam Sukham Atyantikam. This is not an ordinary Sukham. You all have an experience of Sukham. When you have some nice pleasurable things to enjoy, there is some Sukha. But this Sukha is not a normal Sukha. This is Atyantikam, very, very special Sukha. Why it is special Sukha? Because Buddhigrayam. So Buddhigrayam means it is a very special individual experience that you will get which cannot be explained. So many times in spiritual life, there are certain experiences that each one of you will get which cannot be explained to others. It is something very special and unique to you. So Buddhigrayam, it's a very wonderful individual experience that Krishna gives to you. Because you are following a certain process of yoga, bhakti yoga, Krishna wants to reciprocate to you in a unique way, and that experience is very, very special to you. Buddhigrayam and Atindriyam. It is beyond, much beyond the normal sukha that we get out of this material senses. So this is Atindriyam. So that is the kind of enjoyment that Krishna is going to promise, and Krishna is going to give it to us when you have an unwavering mind. You are completely situated in trance. This is what Krishna is saying, that when you absorb yourself in dhyana, doing dhyana on me, then this is what you will get. So Krishna is very, very concerned for such a yogi because he doesn't want him to get distracted by any of the other unwanted things. Krishna is very careful. Krishna, he has ways to attract such a yogi towards himself. Just like, when in the train, when we have this bogies behind, there are a lot of bogies, and the bogies are connected with that kind of an anchor, which pulls the bogie. The engine pulls all the other bogies, but the bogie behind is pulled by a small anchor which is fixed to the bogie in the front. That small anchor, although so small it is, but you see, it is so powerful enough to pull the bogie. You must have observed this. So wonderful it is. So Krishna, once you get connected to Krishna, he will not allow you to go off track now. He is connected to you in such a way that he will always take you in the track. Very, very beautifully. He will not let you go off track. Krishna has all these types of powers to ensure that the yogi will not get distracted by anything. Krishna has unlimited ways of getting our, attracting us. Just like, there are these five elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. Now, each of these elements have its own capabilities, own powers. For example, you take water. Now, water, it has the capability to drown anything. You take 1 kilo of iron and you keep it, immediately it will get drowned. But at the same time, you keep 1 kilo of wood on the water. Do you think it will sink? No. 1 kilo of wood will actually float on the water. So amazing, isn't it? One material is getting drowned, it is sinking, and another material on water is floating. Water has this capability, and water has the capability to float anything in a certain direction, and it will take a particular object from one point to another point. You see, water has the capability. Earth has the capability to attract things. It has the gravitational attraction, right? Gravitational force. So anything that goes up has to come down, because why? Earth has the power of attraction. The earth can attract a fruit on a tree. The fruit will fall down to the earth. But although wind has a weight, people may not know this. Air also has gurutva. Gurutva means it has certain element of weight, but it is not getting attracted. The earth cannot attract it. Earth cannot attract wind. Wind will just flow. Air has another capability. Air can push anything. Most stubborn thing also can be uprooted by the wind. That is the capacity of the wind. The wind can uproot any strong things. That is the power of the wind. Right? Fire, dug, 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 it will burn off anything. You put anything and fire will burn it off. That is the power of fire. It will turn everything into ashes. And then at the same time, you see there is space. Now, space has a capacity, it has a capability to accommodate. It will accommodate everything. Okay, Mercury, you are a small planet, okay, I'll accommodate you. Jupiter, you are a very big planet, I'll accommodate you. You see, space can accommodate all the small and big things. So, similarly, space has the capability to accommodate. That is the capacity of the space element. So, earth, water, fire, air, ether, these material elements can have so much of power, then what to speak of a person, the Supreme Lord, who has created all of these elements. Just imagine. Now, Krishna is so powerful that he can actually push and pull, and he can make you float. And at the same time, he can burn all our different anarthas, and he can attract us towards him. That is the power of Krishna. He has the power to attract us. But unfortunately, what is happening is we are trying to always operate outside the range of Krishna's attraction. That is our misfortune. Just like, Earth is there, Earth has a gravitational force, but beyond a certain distance, there is no gravitational force. You lose that gravitational force. So, similarly, now Krishna also has this wonderful way of attracting us, but we always want to attract, we always want to stay away from the range of Krishna's attraction. And now, this Earth's gravitational force I gave is just to drive across a certain point. In reality, Krishna has so much of power that you can be in any nook and corner of this universe, Krishna can still attract us. When I say we are outside the range, it is not in the physical terms, it is in terms of the consciousness. We are not in the consciousness where we are coming under the range of Krishna's attraction. We are outside Krishna consciousness. So that is the way we are outside the range of Krishna consciousness. We are not feeling the experience of Krishna's attraction towards us. So that is the problem. Krishna is eagerly waiting. Every moment after moment, he is waiting for us so that we can look at him. But we are not, we are busy somewhere else. You see, this is what is happening with all of us. Not even a lava. Lava means it's a very small unit, 1 by 14 time of a second is called a lava. It is so small. That is the time unit, lava. But Krishna, even for that moment, he doesn't want to stay away from us. But we are looking away from him. That is the problem. You see? And in the 22nd verse, again, Krishna is explaining that how, when this kind of a yogi is absorbed completely in dhyana, that state is called samadhi. The final state of Astanga Yoga is samadhi. So that is called trance. So in that state of trance, samadhi, a yogi has completely lost all the external consciousness. You bring big, big drums and beat around him, but he will not get attracted by any of those disturbances. He's completely absorbed in samadhi. He is not distracted by any of the unwanted things. Externally, he is completely detached. He has no external consciousness. He's become unconscious of all the external things. That is called samadhi. And we can all attain that state of samadhi. Very much possible. In Kali Yuga, that is possible by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When we do this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we also get into samadhi, a topmost samadhi. Just see. So this is possible for all of us. Extremely important. And what happens in samadhi? It is like a private chamber. I had mentioned earlier. This is a private chamber where there is no disturbance of anything, external wind or internal wind. Why there is no disturbance of the internal desires in state of samadhi is because Krishna had explained earlier, this body is Navadware Pure. This is the city of 9 gates. A yogi has completely blocked all the 9 gates now. In the state of samadhi, because he has closed all the 9 gates, there is no vyapara. There is no dealings between any of the sensual objects. So what's happening is he's detached. There is no exchange happening. So that is why he is in samadhi, completely lost of external consciousness. And in that state of samadhi, what is he doing, by the way? Is he sitting idle? No. In that state of samadhi, internally, he is completely absorbed in Paramatma. He is constantly enjoying the blissful form of Paramatma. That Paramatma is in his heart. He is enjoying that completely. That is samadhi. He is, just like I had told earlier, that the Lord has a private chamber. The Lord has a private chamber, and that is our heart. And in that private chamber, he wants to interact with us. He's waiting for that interaction. But we are not reciprocating with him. That is our misfortune. So in that state of samadhi, you can understand, in this world, everyone wants certain privacy, either offline or online. We all require certain privacy. That's why there are privacy policies, right? So each one of us needs certain space, some private space for all of us. Now, Krishna is always surrounded by so many devotees. Now, although he is surrounded by so many devotees in the Vaikuntha, in the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavana, still Krishna wants to have an exclusive private time with us. Each of the soul, he wants to have a privacy. He wants to have a private dealings with each soul. That is Krishna's magnanimity. He is so magnanimous that he can expand into as many souls are there, and he can have a private meeting with all of us. And that is what is happening with the yogi. A yogi is having a personal interaction with Krishna. And more than the yogi, it is Krishna's eagerness to be with the yogi. The Supreme Lord is more eager than we are eager to meet him. That is the speciality of Krishna. That is the magnanimity of Krishna. This is what we are supposed to understand. Just like the parents of a child, they are so fond of him, they love him so much. Now the child grows up and gets married and goes here, there, and forgets parents sometime. But the parents always think that the child should come and spend some exclusive time with us, isn't it? Always away, but sometimes they always desire to have the child come to them and spend some exclusive time only for them. That is the desire, right? So similarly, Krishna being the Supreme Father, he is waiting for all of us to, we can give that exclusive time to him. He's waiting for that exclusive time from us. So why wait? Why make Krishna wait? This is the opportunity for all of us. In this very lifetime, we can actually turn all our attention towards Krishna. We can actually shut down all these nine gates of this body and then focus on Krishna without any internal disturbance. And it's a very strong force, by the way. When you're doing dhyana, when you're chanting, you see, when you're chanting, there are so many desires. Although externally you may be very quiet in a very wonderful environment, but internally there is every possibility that you can actually get distracted by the wind of desires. Sometimes you are chanting and suddenly you get this thought, oh, I should go to the restaurant and I should eat something. And that desire is so powerful, it is so tempting that it will disturb your chanting. It will take away your attention from chanting. Right? So you see, all these different things are happening. There are wonderful things happening here. So a yogi gets the ultimate benefit, and that ultimate benefit is the personal, private time with Krishna. Just imagine he is the president of the whole universe, and you are getting a chance to actually have a personal interaction with him. What can be more beautiful than that? So you should not lose this opportunity. So yogi is always enjoying. He's in a very extreme state of bliss. They may look externally weird, but the yogis are very blissful. Sometimes with the dadi and all those big beard and all those things, they may appear very not so good looking. Many times, that's what happened to this Amba and Ambalika also. Ambika and Ambalika. When they saw Vyasadeva, Vyasadeva is the supreme personality of Godhead. Seeing his external features, they got scared. So many people, they get scared of yogis, but they are so blissful internally because they are constantly in touch with Krishna. So this is what Krishna is explained now, that how a yogi actually is enjoying. So we should never think that anybody who is coming to taking up spirituality or getting into spiritual life, he is going to lose a lot of things. He will miss a lot of things. No, it's not true actually. Yogis or any spiritualist for that matter is going to get a lot more enjoyment, much bigger enjoyment. And that is what is happening with some of you. You said that you earlier you used to have some non-vegetarian food and all those things, but today you have lost taste for all that. And because you have lost taste, you are experiencing some higher joy, higher enjoyment and happiness. You are so blissful. And the more we do this, the more joy and happiness will flow into our life. Just stick to Krishna and stick to this process of chanting. You will see amazing things happening in your life. This is the process of yoga mentioned in Kali Yuga. This is mantra meditation. So let us do this mantra meditation every single day, and you will see so many beautiful things happening. So my request is, all of you, please chant every day, and wonderful things will happen in your life. So today we have almost covered 5 verses. So I'll just take up some Q&A if you have. So you can feel free to ask questions, and you can ask on YouTube, because or Uma Kumar can also on StreamYard. So if there are any questions, please feel free to ask questions.
Guruji,
Yes, Uma Kumar.
last time you told about breatharians. In internet, I saw Guruji. Breatharians means completely they are not at all taking food, even liquid water also. They are taking only energy from sun. How it is possible, Guruji?
Yeah, that's a yogic process again. That how these people, breatharians, so these people have got tuned to it. Their bodies got tuned to stay alive just on breathing. And that is what the yogis do, right? What is the process of breathing now? In pranayama, the yogis, they stop all the external engagement, and they are just living on the air. They are just on breath. They are holding on their life on the breath, on the prana. Because you see, the body in the material state, in the material consciousness, it requires all these external things. But actually, the body is getting energy from the soul, right? Because if the soul is going out of the body, then what happens? Although you may feed with all the food and water and everything else, the body will not wake up. The body will not get energy because the actual source of energy within the body is the soul. So, what happens in the process of yoga? You start getting all the energy from the soul. You are dependent on the soul energy and not the energy that you're externally feeding the body. So the body becomes stable. The body is sustaining on the soul's energy now, completely, without any external requirement of energy. So that is how these people, they just live on air, on the breath, and they take sunlight. Sunlight is good enough. Yes, because see, the plants are sustaining on just sunlight. So they take the sunlight and they exist. So similarly, these people, by the process of yoga, they just take sunlight and air. That is enough for them. So that is amazing. But let us not try that because Prabhupada has given nice prasadam for us. So we can always
Okay.
enjoy nice prasadam. So that is the process of yoga for us. Bhakti yoga doesn't say that you have to take these extremes of controlling your mind and body through this very hard tapasya. That is not required now in Kali Yuga. Some people have done it because over a period of time, for many many years, when they have done tapasya like that, they have practiced it. They are able to just live and sustain on breath, and they are able to take sunlight and live without eating and drinking anything. That is possible only after a long duration of time. So we can, as Krishna conscious devotees, have wonderful prasadam. We can eat nice prasadam, and we can at the same time perform yoga. Eating prasadam itself is yoga now. See, that is the beauty of bhakti yoga. Just by eating prasadam, you are performing yoga. What more do you want? Because that's why we say we don't eat prasadam, we honor prasadam. There is a difference between eating and honoring. When we take prasadam, we honor it. So, by honoring prasadam, you are coming in contact with Krishna because prasadam is not different from Krishna. Chanting is not different from Krishna. See, that is how Bhakti Yoga is designed. Bhakti Yoga is very beautifully designed. You don't have to get distracted by all these external tapasya now. These yogic processes are not recommended in Kali Yuga. Just sing and dance and have nice prasadam. That is perfection of yoga. And if you can do only these things, until as long as we are living, that is perfection. That will give you perfection. Nicely singing in the kirtans, chanting your rounds properly, and having prasadam every day. Only these things can actually help you to attain perfection in life. What more do you want?
Yes.
You don't have to become a Brahmacharya. All right?
Yes, yes, Guruji. Guruji, last time one more. Shall I ask one more question, Guruji?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, last time one more thing also you told, Guruji. Rishis from Kumbh Mela, they're going to come from Himalayas to
Correct.
Kumbh Mela. How you told they are going to dip into water?
Yes. It is very much possible again through the process of yoga. These yogis, they can travel through water. They can take dip in the water, three dips, and again they come from Himalaya through Ganges. They take three dips at the Kumbh Mela at Prayagraj, and the third dip they will not again come out. They'll just go back to Himalayas through the Ganges water. That is the yogic process that they have. So there are many examples like that in our scriptures also. Srimad Bhagavatam explains now that how Kardama Muni, he traveled to different planets through mind. I mean, just by his yogic process, he created a spaceship. Now, he created a spaceship which had a wonderful palace, it had a wonderful swimming pool, and all the facilities for enjoyment. Everything was there on the spaceship, and that spaceship could go from one planet to another planet. Can you imagine? Kardama Muni did this. And many times these yogis, they don't need any physical thing for traveling, for commuting, just through the mind. The process of mind, the strength of the mind, the power of mind, they can travel from one place to another place. And traveling through the mind is much more faster than the light, the speed of light, because mind travels much more faster than the speed of light. The speed of mind is very, very higher than the speed of light. So mind can travel, and through the process of mind, it can go. Just, just like when Gajendra called out, when he was in trouble, he was captured, he was caught by the crocodile, and he called out, "Oh my Lord, please come and protect me." The Lord was in Vaikunta. In moments he came. The Lord immediately on Garuda Vahana, he came immediately. Why? Because the Lord is even more powerful. He is faster than the mind also. So the yogis actually they travel through the speed of mind, and that is possible because they have experience. They don't they are not limited by this physical body, this body of Panchabhuta. So they are beyond this body of they use this body just like a cloth. For them, this is just like a cloth. So they are least bothered about it. They do a lot of activities even without this. So that is possible. That is very much possible. And even now, even today, such yogis exist. So let us see some more questions are there. So Hina Mataji is asking, Prabhuji, Ashtanga Yoga is very difficult for us. You mentioned Bhakti Yoga is a method for us. Exactly. But what is the essence of Bhakti? Can you please explain? So when we talk about Bhakti, ultimately any yoga process you take, whether it is Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Ashtanga Yoga, the culmination of all these different yoga processes that you have to come to the stage of bhakti. If you don't come to the stage of bhakti yoga, then these are just futile. Because why we are supposing we are doing this yoga is to link with God, right? Yoga means what? Linking between the Atma and the Paramatma, the Jivatma and the Paramatma. Yoga is to link. So now all these different yogas are supposed to bring you to the platform of bhakti way yoga, where you link yourself in such a way that you have a relationship with Krishna. Bhakti yoga enables you to develop a relationship with Krishna. Not actually developing, you already have a relationship, you have forgotten that relationship. So it re-establishes that relationship with Krishna. So Bhakti Yoga gives you a special, easy process of developing that relationship. Now, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, you may get connected to Krishna in a certain way. For example, many people who are Jnanis, they are performing yoga, but they have only the Bhagwan, they don't have the Bhagwan realization, they have the Brahman realization. Some may have the Paramatma realization. But anybody who sincerely and seriously follows Bhakti Yoga, he gets an experience. He realizes Bhagwan aspect, which is complete, the aspect of Krishna. So that realization is what is offered by Bhakti Yoga. So this is speciality of Bhakti Yoga. It offers Krishna to all of us. Krishna becomes sold out to all the Bhakti Yogis. He may not get sold out for the Jnani and the Karmi Yogi because they are not in intimate connection. They are performing yoga, they are connected to Krishna, but that's not an intimate connection. But Bhakti Yoga enables you to have an intimate connection with Krishna in either of the form, either in the Dasya Rasa or in the Vatsalya Rasa, in the Sakhya Rasa or in the Madhurya Rasa. In any of these relationships, you can interact with Krishna. This is offered by Bhakti Yoga. It's a very special thing. So that is why Bhakti Yoga is the topmost. Ashtanga Yoga, it's not practical in this Kali Yuga. We should just forget it. We should not even think about Ashtanga Yoga. It's not possible for us. So Vinodji is asking, Prabhuji, what is the objective of Britharians? Britharians is because the objective is maybe they want to save some food for others. They don't want to eat any food. They don't want to drink anything. Maybe they want to save some food on planet because people are hungry. Maybe that's one objective. I think so. Again, that was speculation. So basically, some people have this obsession that I should be self-dependent. I should not be depend on. I should not depend on anything external. So maybe they just want to have that power of being completely independent independent in the sense that they don't want to be, for their life, for existing, they don't want to depend on any of these external sources. They are just having that energy of the soul, and they want to harness that energy and sustain on that, because that is ultimately the life force is what is giving us our life, or even to this body. Otherwise body is always dead. From birth to death, actually body is dead. Body is never alive. What is alive is only the soul. But because the soul is in the body, then the body is animated, the body is growing, the body is getting maintained. But otherwise the body is always dead. So these people, they think that, okay, if the body can be alive just with the life force, then why should I unnecessarily bother about eating, sleeping, and all those things? So that is how they think, I guess. This is what I think about the breatharians. But yes, they want to have certain, maybe some people want, again, it may depend from breatharian to breatharian. Some people may think it from the spiritual point of view. Some people may take it from the socialistic point of view, where they don't want to, or humanitarian point of view, where they think, okay, I want to save some food for others. Maybe like that. So many possibilities are there. But again, we are not here to become a breatharian, right? So good, very nice. I like this interaction today, and hopefully you all got some idea about how Krishna is saying that samadhi is the topmost thing, and we all should attain that state of samadhi, because in that state of samadhi, Krishna is promising that I will protect you. See, if you see this verse very beautifully, Krishna is saying that um, he's saying that I will protect you personally. Now, this is again a very special thing. In the last 23rd, he's saying that, see, last two lines, tam vidya dukkha samyoga viyogam yoga samnitam. So, tam vidya dukkha samyoga. I will see and ensure that you are completely free from any sort of dukkha if you are coming to the state of samadhi. When you become Krishna conscious, it is my duty to take you completely away from all dukkha. When the small little boy Dhruva, 5 years old boy Dhruva, went to do tapasya, he was not eating, sleeping. Even Dhruva was for a month or so, he was completely on air. He was just having his life maintained on air. He was doing so much of tapasya, and all these tapasya when he was doing, the devatas, they come to test many times when all the devotees, when you are all going to do a lot of tapasya now by chanting, don't think that the devatas are sitting quiet. They will come and test you. Are you really serious about spiritual life or not? So when all these devatas were going to Dhruva to disturb him and to try to test him, the Lord told the devatas, no, 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 you don't go and disturb him, because Krishna is more eager. He doesn't want any sort of disturbance. He is so eager to meet his devotee that he's telling the devatas, no, no, you don't disturb him. So that is the order of Krishna. So all of us, when you are all going to do a lot of tapasya, tapasya will not come simply without disturbances. There will be challenges from your own mind, from external some environment or people, or including the devatas. The devatas also will cause disturbances to you in your life. They will come sometime to test you. That is the important thing, one of the important function of Indra. Anytime anybody is doing any tapasya, very severe tapasya, Indra will come first, and he'll feel very insecure. Oh, what if this devotee will take away my position? So immediately Indra will get activated and he wants to disturb the devotees. He did that for Vishwamitra, isn't it? Vishwamitra was doing so nice tapasya, then he sent Menaka. So like that, lot of disturbances will come from different levels. But Krishna is telling here in the Bhagavad Gita, if you come to the state of samadhi, then it is my duty that I will protect you from all sort of dukkha. No disturbances will come to you. That is the promise of Krishna. Now, what more we want? Krishna is promising so clearly in the Bhagavad Gita. It cannot be more simpler than this. Krishna is promising this. It is Krishna's promise. So, take advantage of all the wonderful things that Krishna is sharing in this Bhagavad Gita, and let's do this, intensify our bhakti more and more. In every condition, in every state of our existence in this life, no matter dukkha, sukha, whatever we are experiencing, let us not give up on Krishna consciousness. Just hold on to Krishna somehow or the other. Just hold on to Krishna. Don't leave him. In any case, in any situation, good, bad, ugly, in every situation of life, just completely be dependent on Krishna, and Krishna will take care. All right. So with this, we'll end today's session, and thank you so much for joining. Although some of you were traveling and on the go, you are listening to the session. So very nice of all of you. So thank you once again, and we'll meet you again next Sunday with some more new shlokas, and Krishna is going to explain something very interesting again. All right. So take care. Hare Krishna. If there are any more questions, you can ask in the group.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna.